How's it going, everybody? My name is BobaTalks and welcome to this late review of episode 20 of Gotham, titled One Bad Day. Now, I was busy Friday at DC exhibition in London and I had a great time there. I definitely recommend you check it out, but I'm going to make a little separate video showing off how much of a great time I had there, so definitely check that out when that video comes out. Saturday, when I would do the review, they had to drop the white band trailer on our head, so that kind of took priority just because it was insane. Sunday, I don't really have much of an excuse for, apart from just wanting to chill, and here we are on Monday, and I guess this is going to be kind of up later in the day on Monday, but anyway, we're here. This was an incredible episode. It really was. I'm obviously going to talk a lot about the whole Jeremiah Valeska kind of unveiling in terms of how he was, you know, this true other self, and there's a lot of debate going on. Did the gas do anything to Jeremiah? Did it or didn't it? Was he crazy all along? I have an opinion on that. My opinion isn't concretely correct until we hear one of the writers, or you know, whoever actually wrote this storyline, or what EP made that decision says, you know, oh, he definitely was a bit weird before, but the gas did something. You know, that's what I think anyway, but I'll get into that a little bit later. There was only a couple of other things in this episode, to be honest, and they were only like small little bits here and there, because obviously we're setting up this massive No Man's Land event that's happening. So the only other stuff that happened was Riddler and Lee. Riddler coming in to save the day, and then Penguin and Grundy, a little bit more stuff going on there, but ultimately it was just kind of about Jim, Bruce, and Jeremiah, and everything going on with that, and obviously the cult trying to you know, have a wake at the GCPD, which was pretty funny. But anyway, just a public service announcement. If you're not subscribed to this channel already, just go ahead and subscribe for more nerdy videos just like this on anything DC related, and hopefully venturing out into other kind of comic booky stuff later on this summer. But yeah, hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on the video, with notifications on so you never miss out on video. So in this episode, there was a bit of a smoke screen going on until, you know, I can talk about the grand unveiling, but with Jerome's video that was being played at the GCPD, to Jim where you found out about the wake, but also Echo, the Proto Harley, going to the cult members, I believe the night before, when they were just, you know, at Jerome's grave, and she had to play his message saying dig me up, which unfolded the events to create the wake at the GCPD, which was really funny and just crazy. And yeah, the GCPD got completely overrun. Loved Jim's face when he was checking out the wake video, or yeah, the message from Jerome. But just before the cult stormed the GCPD to have the wake there, I kind of like the moment between Jim and Lee. It just shows how many people kind of probably get let off with a lot of crime in Gotham, because there's so much worse crime that goes on. For example, Harvey was just like, you know, we could just let her out the back, and Jim was just being his righteous self, like, no. He even said the lines to Lee, like, you know, everyone wants to play Robin Hood, rob the banks, but you know, it's against the law. And the kind of vibe I got from Jim was just that there's so many things that he wishes he could change, and you know, the things he's done, that I don't think he wants to let Lee go out of principle of just wanting to be good now. And it's just kind of like, Jim, you could kind of just let her go, but I get it. And in the real world, he is basically doing the exact right thing. But anyway, the cult stormed the GCPD. A lot of wild stuff goes on now. I'm not going to talk too much about that. It was pretty awesome to see. Lee gets knocked the F out there, which I kind of found pretty hilarious. I don't know, it was just such a random moment. I've seen quite a few comments about that it was just like, what? At the same time as this kind of all going along, we had the Riddler formulating this plan with the Narrows team about breaking Lee out, and that was a bit hilarious, to the point in this episode where he actually dressed up as one of the Jerome cult members and went to go and free Lee in the name of Riddler love, but yeah, got knocked out himself, which was pretty funny. I'm trying to get these little bits out of the way, because obviously the bit I really want to talk about is the unveiling of the Joker. Honestly, I don't really want to talk too much about this forever as well, just because I don't mind this storyline happening between Lee and Ed. I just don't really care for it too much. I don't know why. It's just, either way, Lee kind of woke up and she was in the medical examiner's office, which was her old office. Ed was there, knocked out, and she said this line about, you know, the smartest man of Gotham, you know, and he kind of, you know, screwed this up, getting knocked out despite being as smart as he is. But yeah, there you go, people. Some Lee and Ed stuff this episode. It was okay, I guess. Now, I call this a review and a breakdown because, I mean, I guess that's why these videos are long as well, because I kind of like to talk in detail about certain points whilst reviewing it as well. And that is the Bruce and Jeremiah Jeremiah's stuff. Now in this episode, we had Bruce at Jeremiah's bunker, and what Jeremiah had planned for Gotham was really genius and could, solve a lot of problems, because that shiny blue generator at the back of Jeremiah's room, requires no cables or wires of any kind, and it is virtually, as Jeremiah said, without costs. But just like the synopsis stated, Bruce's friend goes through a lot of paranoia or something like that, and Jeremiah was very paranoid in this episode. He was like, you didn't tell anyone else about this, did you? And he was like, nobody beyond Wayne Enterprises or the Wayne research place knows about it. But alongside this paranoia, what we have to remember is he's already, I think the past couple of weeks, you would have to think a couple of weeks has passed since we had that episode in between, so like 2 weeks-ish time frame, that Jeremiah has planned all this stuff, like wearing the drone makeup, and I'll get to that a little bit later, and planning the whole GCPD wake and all of that stuff, fooling Gordon with the drone makeup, all that kind of stuff has transpired over the past 2 weeks ever since the gas took place. So what we're seeing right now is either Jeremiah lying or him generally, not really knowing what's going on until that final moments out in the graveyard where the Joker is revealed. But what I mean by what I just said is a matter of if the gas actually did have an effect on Jeremiah, and during this episode we did see little bits of Jeremiah, or was he actually struggling between insanity gas actually affecting his mind. And a big reason as to why this review and breakdown is about the insanity gas is because how much of an effect did it have on Jeremiah? Because we had moments in the episode where he told Bruce that he was sprayed by the insanity gas when they were in the bunker, and he was, looking normal, and he went on to say, I can't stop seeing him clawing his way out of his grave, coming for me, even though I know it's not real, I can't control myself. Now let's fast forward to the point where Jeremiah was convinced that Bruce was Jerome under the skin. Now you could argue that this is all just an act until he wipes the makeup off, or you can argue that those were the last kind of remnants of Jeremiah and his insane paranoia that was taking place until he kind of just shook it all, and both kind of sides of him came out at once. Now to cut all this bit short, I definitely think the gas had some effect. I don't know how much to an extent, but I kind of agree with what Bruce said. After Jeremiah wiped, the makeup off his face and revealed the cosmetic effects that the insanity gas had, so that kind of confirms that it definitely does turn your skin white, just like we saw with the businessman that they tried it out on first of all. He said that he was kind of completely sane apart from the cosmetic effects, but Bruce said, Jeremiah, the gas worked. Think about it. You want to carry out Jerome's plans sanely. What could be madder than that? And I completely agree with this. Now, I thought this was an amazing reveal in the episode. We all knew it was kind of coming, and well, I didn't know the makeup was coming. I personally thought that he wasn't actually wearing makeup, and I was really hoping for a second transformation, but still, this was pleasantly surprising for me. I thought it was absolutely brilliant when, he shot the guy because he was saying Jerome victorious, and Jeremiah cannot stand that because, it's long live Jeremiah now. He is the one who is victorious over Jerome. The massive sibling rivalry there is just mad. And I say sibling rivalry in terms of Jeremiah just thinks he is better than Jerome because he is sane and will do his ideas better, and his brother was just an idiot in terms of his madness. But ironically, Jeremiah is even more mad in a way. As Bruce said, what could be madder than trying to execute Jerome's plans, all the plans that he had in that book, that sanely? It's like, what? So there's a lot of people out there who thinks that Jeremiah was crazy beforehand, like this level of crazy. Obviously he lied about his brother Jerome, and that's what got Jerome abused, and he did all those lies, and you have to be quite a horrible person to do that. Completely agree. And I definitely think he was a bit wacky beforehand. However, I think that the laughing gas definitely did do something. It would be completely and utterly pointless for them to do that whole insane scene when he just came home, he was pouring a drink, and then he just went crazy, he was knocking over stuff, all that struggle, all that, the gas does something. I definitely think it does. Jonathan Crane's fear toxin has never failed before, the laughing gas has never failed before, so why would it fail on Jeremiah? What I think it did is he was definitely, there's something weird about the Valeska genetics. He was definitely, maybe even had some kind of plans, but maybe didn't plan to do them immediately. But however, I think that the gas, apart from the cosmetic effects, of course, definitely kind of unlocked this level in Jeremiah's mind that could have come out eventually, or may have just been downplayed. But now, as Jeremiah said in the White Band trailer, his eyes are open now, and that is exactly what I think the laughing gas, the insanity gas, sorry, as they call it, did. It opened his eyes to now he wants to do everything like this and better than his brother, and the way he thinks that is achievable is by doing it sanely, which is, as we all know, just as crazy. And there's some people who really don't like the whole he's stealing ideas from Jerome, and that is technically true. He's got every single idea that Jerome planned to do in that book or that diary of Jerome's, and he just says he's going to do it one better by carrying it out sanely. That is definitely, I guess you could call it a copycat, but in a way they did always say that this Joker, and we have got our Joker now obviously, will be like I guess he kind of is inspired, if that makes sense. Jeremiah would never admit to that because he's just going to do them better, but that kind of follows with what they were going through there. I would prefer it, I guess, if he just had his own ideas, because he definitely did hint that he was going to do all of the ideas better. So that is a bit like, I guess, copycatty, and I would love to know what you guys think about that. How do you feel about Jeremiah's plans to literally tick everything off Jerome's list and do it better? But yes, to end the debate, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is fact, until we have an interview and maybe they follow up question if Gotham gets renewed or if it doesn't get renewed. I'm sure they're still going to talk about the storylines they had right at the end of this season. We might find out exactly what effects the gas had on Jeremiah. Was he mad without this? Was it literally just cosmetic? To end it, I think it definitely did something. I definitely think it opened his eyes. I definitely think he may have had plans to do similar things, but now, I don't know. I definitely think it did something, because it would be so pointless for him to go through that Killing Joke transformation in his bunker. Just why would he have hid in his room, in his bunker all these years, if this Joker, who we now know is very ballsy, was afraid of Jerome? I just don't believe any of that. He hid in his bunker for years and years. And if for when in the future we find out this is wrong in an article and we come back to this video, I would like to think that it isn't wrong. I would just like to think that the gas did do something. If we find out in the future and we go back to this video and maybe Danny Cannon or one of the EPs said that the gas didn't do anything and it literally just did have cosmetic side effects, I think that would be a bit disappointing for me personally. I like the fact that this kind of made his brother, a Joker kind of created a Joker. Like Jeremiah created Jerome through, like, you know, telling lies, and he got abused, had a horrible life, and then Jerome created Jeremiah, opened his eyes. That's just a bit more poetic, don't you think, than if we find out, you know, in a few weeks time after an interview they're like, oh no, yeah, the laughing gas did absolutely nothing. It's like, Now, one of my most favorite things about Jeremiah and this Joker, and this is very obvious and a traditional of the Joker anyway, is when he's like, behold the face of true sanity. What could be madder than an insane guy thinking he's sane? That's just fantastic, and I like how it's going to be kind of poetic in the next episode with the Joker, and we've had this in the comics so many times of him trying to prove that his way of doing things, or the way he sees things, the way he wants to reshape the city, is sane. And he's going to kind of try and put that on Bruce. And Bruce is like, the difference between you and me is that I'm not going to unleash that. I have it in control. This is going to be the back and forth of that relationship for years. But also, I love, in a very kind of Batman Telltale way, the Joker has known Bruce's identity before and been obsessed with him. I love how they've already started that in Gotham. Some people don't like the origin of it, but I feel like they've created a cool thing here. Like, Jeremiah wants him to be his very, very best friend. And he, as we've seen in the White Band trailer as well, and from what I just mentioned in this review, not only does he want to be his very, very best friend, and I think Jeremiah has begun an obsession, quite literally an obsession with Bruce. And I don't know, in combination with him thinking that he's completely sane and everything like that, and now this obsession with Bruce, it is a bloody brilliant prequel mixture into what could be one day the Batman and the Joker. I don't know. I know obviously there's a lot of things I disagree with Gotham, and I've been forced to kind of have to accept some of the things they're doing, but sometimes when I have taken a step back and accepted something that, you know, for example, Jerome isn't going to be the Joker now, we've obviously got Jeremiah, you do see the silver lining occasionally. You know, it's not all bad if it's not exactly the way you want to go. Like, a lot of people, for example, have rage quit Gotham because, you know, Jerome wasn't the Joker. Another thing I love, and I've mentioned this in a couple of videos now, is just his Dark Knight Returns vibe. It's a very chilling kind of thing. A lot of people really don't like this. A lot of people really do. I'm in the middle in a way. I would say I really like it. Obviously, I like the crazy kind of Jerome-y kind of part to it as well that we had before, but now we've got this, and that's why I'm in the middle. But I still love it because it's like a different iteration that we've got now from Cameron once again. It's just very chilling. It's very like, oh, James Gordon, you know, it's very, I don't know. If you've seen the Dark Knight Returns animation, watch it if you haven't already. Amazing, amazing, amazing. The Joker in that is I feel like Cameron is very heavily inspired by that. Or even if he's not inspired by that, it's like this version of the Joker that definitely exists, that obviously some actors have gone to because they think that it can portray a very crazy, unstable person who almost portrays themselves calm, but that kind of makes them more creepier. And that's exactly what Cameron is done. It's just that bit in the white band trailer where he's looking at the people burning, like, and it's like he remembers he has something to do, and he's like, and he carries on. That is just mad, where Jerome would just be laughing his head off. Two different Jokers. I love it. I love it. It's great. Now, I know I've brushed over a lot in this review. I just felt like there was so much to talk about with the whole Jeremiah reveal. Obviously, Jim isn't dead, and I definitely believe that Jeremiah thinks he has killed him. Otherwise, you wouldn't have said, I've done something my stupid brother didn't do. You know, Jim Gordon is dead, and then that's when Bruce went mad. Obviously, Alfred got taken in this episode before he can make it to the bunker. That's going to be a heavy part to do with next episode. In One Bad Day, he's going to be getting tortured. There's a lot of theories out there already. In regards to the torture scenes we saw in the white band trailer, if that is the fear toxin in Bruce's system, so maybe Alfred is going to be fine physically. He's going to be fine anyway, as we know, because he's Alfred. But there's also promo photos for the episode 22 No Man's Land, where he seems okay. So how much of is he going to actually be tortured? But there was a lot of blood there, so you have to think he is going to be a bit beaten and bruised. But TV logic, people heal insanely fast in between episodes. I mean, Jim got shot 3 or 4 times by Sophia, and then I guess a week or 2 took place, but I don't know. Obviously, between the lines and between the episodes of TV shows, they do often not state that sometimes even more time has gone past in between episodes. One thing about this episode that it's not necessarily about this episode, because they had a lot going on in it anyway, so I could completely forgive that. And I'm a bit worried they might not have time to find time for this. But I need an explanation for Echo. I know it's already been said that she's devoted her life to Jeremiah, when he was hiding under the bunker and stuff. But that scene with him and Echo at the end, it was that moment with those 2 Wayne security guards and our Joker was standing there. Our Proto Harley, as she came out from behind Jeremiah and shot the guards, I'm actually surprised I call that. I mean, it's not so unobvious, but still, a pat on the back. And that was really cool. Jeremiah was in his, half purple, half black suit, I believe. He had his hair wavy like that. That was pretty cool. Joker, bleached skin and everything like that. Brilliant. Harley in her Harley clothes. Some people ask me, what do I think of that costume? I think it's great for what it is. I really do. Obviously, it's a bit, not as elegant as what she has worn in the future, if this is going to be our Harley, or if it gets revealed that Echo's real name is Harleen. Which, by the way, I've said before, and some people are like, but that's not what happens. Harleen Quinzel is, the Joker psycho. It doesn't always have to be portrayed like that. I say this so many times to people, but just because something happened one way in the comics doesn't mean that Gotham aren't going to change it up by making Echo Harleen. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be the way you've read it. It really doesn't. Otherwise, nothing would ever be interesting again. It would just be like, oh, I read that in the book. But anyway, back onto the point at hand. Yeah, she was just kind of standing there. She killed those 2 security guards, and it's he walked her in, and then we saw that grand reveal at the end of the episode of all those generators, and that is going to be a lot of bombs. Holy crap, to blow up Gotham City, essentially. But yeah, Harley, she's just quiet. Echo, our Proto Harley, is just so quiet. I want some dialogue from her. I want some explanation as to why she's been following Jeremiah. Why is she supporting him after all of this? Is this evidence for why the insanity gas didn't do too much to him? Because all these years when he was living in the bunker, she perhaps knew how crazy he was, and they were both crazy together. This is what I mean. There's a lot of back and forth between the insanity gas, because you could argue the reason why Echo is still devoted to Jeremiah is because nothing's changed. She knew how crazy it was anyway. Even if that is the case, and they did have this plan for years and years, and Echo fully knew what Jeremiah was like, I still like to think that the insanity gas definitely opened his eyes up even more, and Echo's just going along with it. But I have to admit, she did kind of look a little bit uncomfortable. So I don't know, people. I would love to know what you think. Do you think we need a bit more, I don't know, something from the Echo character in Gotham? As I said, I don't know how much screen time they can afford to this in the last 2 episodes. I wouldn't even expect more than a few sentences from her, but I think we need something. I think we need Jim saying something like, why do you follow this guy? And she says, oh, because of blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? We need something like that, because otherwise it's just like this blank canvas and somebody dressed up in the Harley Quinn costume, but nothing other than that, following Jerome around, being an amazing freaking fighter. I need more. Another explanation we got is as to why the Jerome cult is following Jeremiah anyway, is because obviously him killing Jim Gordon is something Jerome can never do, and they've always not liked Jim Gordon anyway because of what he's done to Jerome. So this is why the Jerome cult becomes Jeremiah's cult, because he even said to Gordon, killing you will help secure Jerome's minions, even though he's going to burn them anyway. I'm pretty sure in the white band trailer, that scene when he was locking those people up in there is Jerome's cult, or Jeremiah's cult, Jerome's cult, Jeremiah. But people of this video, I think I have spoke enough about this episode. I know it's been kind of untraditional, but you know, there's a lot of things that happened that I just needed to blur and stuff about. Great episode. I was very worried about all of this stuff. I was once a fan where I was annoyed about Jerome not being the Joker and stuff like that, but I feel like what Gotham have done, there is definitely a silver lining to it. At least we still got Cameron. I like this new Joker, a very chilling Dark Knight Returns Joker. Everything that happened in this episode is set up, and the amazing finale that is to come. They're not doing a finale in one episode, you know, like 2 episodes back to back this year. I think they did that last season. This season it is still 2 separate episodes, and I think it ends on the 17th of May. So we've still got, 2 weeks left of Gotham. But if you got this far in the video, guys, type in the comment section down below. I can honestly say you are my very best friend. And of course, do you think that the insanity gas, this is the main question I want to ask in this review or breakdown at the end of this review breakdown, do you think that insanity gas did anything to Jeremiah? Anything at all? Remember what I said earlier in this video? I think it's opened his eyes. I definitely think it didn't not do anything at all. Other than that, guys, to never miss a video, obviously you can subscribe. My links are popping up to social media as well. I want to say thank you to all of my patrons. You guys are the best, and you help me create videos like this more and more by supporting me on Patreon. So if you're curious and you want to become a patron yourself, links at the top of the description, check it out. But other than that, everybody, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.